Hey, possibility seekers, how are you? It's me. I want to talk about a problem I see constantly. And it's not a branding problem. It's not a marketing problem. It's not even a confidence problem. It's a labeling problem. Someone at some point gave you a title. And since then, you have been stuck inside that title, living inside that title, limited by that title since, even when it stopped fitting you. Does that sound about right? You might be a senior vice president of operations. You might be a CHRO. You might be a COO. You might be a CMO. You might have C's in front of your names, behind your names, around your names, whatever it is. But I'm going to ask you a question. Is every person with your title out there the same? Of course not. No company is the same and no COO is the same. I have 4 COOs that I know right now that I'm tangentially or directly working with. They couldn't be more different if I tried to make them more different. And yet, when we go to the marketplace or we're looking for new opportunities or we're looking to partner with other companies or we're looking to set up our own businesses, we allow these terms, these titles to define who we are, what we do, what we don't do, what we're supposed to know, and what we're supposed to do. It's no wonder that people are at crossroads. They don't know whether to go right, left, middle. They don't know. I'm going to submit that we need to have conversations around owning something, not letting it define us. Let me explain what I mean by this. I'm going to give you the example of a brilliant number two. I met this woman years ago, and she was her title at that time, nice enterprise level company, was COO. She was a fantastic number two, and she had been number two in different titles in different companies for years. This woman made every CEO she worked for and with look like a bloody rock star. She was the perfect number two. She would get into operations. She would get into pricing. She would get into marketing. Wherever there was a problem, she went in there. She was like a bloody SWAT team and she unstuck it and she made the CEO look great. And she would keep him in the know, but not in the weeds. Here's what happened. When she was looking for a new opportunity, everyone assumed because she had spent X amount of years being number two, being a COO, that she automatically needed to be and wanted to be CEO. She wanted to be in the number one spot. Guess what? She didn't. Her number two position for all those years began to become an albatross around her neck because people assumed, you always remember what they say about assuming. She didn't want to be a number one. She didn't want to be a CEO. She wanted to stay number two where she could get her hands dirty and fix stuff and not be worried about the politics and the shareholders and the board meetings and all the other stuff that she really didn't have any time or passion for. So it needed to be expressed that she wanted to be that number two. It needed to be expressed in her messaging, in her positioning, in her resume, in her LinkedIn profile to stop apologizing for the fact that she never wanted or wants to be past, current, future a CEO. Do you understand the distinction here? I met a woman, I love her. She probably will know who she is when she listens to this podcast, who has been both a CMO and a COO. Two strong disciplines, exceptional track records in each place. But companies didn't know what box to put her in, right? Like, how does a CMO operate equally well as a COO? Well, guess what? In some companies, you get your hands dirty and you get to have some operational experience when you're in the marketing seat or vice versa. And that's what happened. The market defined her and didn't know what to do with her because she was an unhireable hybrid. But here's the thing. You have to look at that and say, no, I am the powerful 1 + 1 = 3. When you hire me, you get the bonus plan. That's what she needed to claim. That's what she needed to lean into, and that's what she did. And it became clear. It was a completely different conversation, a completely different marketing strategy, and a completely different engagement with companies when you say, yes, I know I am that person that you can send in when things go wrong, when things need to be repositioned, when things need to go to market, and then I can operationalize that marketing plan. That is a golden employee. But again, let's talk about how that title constrained her. Third one, met a great CHRO, Chief Human Resources Officer. Now, Chief Human Resources Officers also, every one of them is built differently. And every one of them, depending on their context and their companies, allow them latitude or lack thereof. Yeah. So this particular person, human, she had an innate ability to be a mentor. She was like the queen of culture without even trying. She was like a walking human resources assessment. She could just figure people out. She could just see what their strengths were going to be. She had amazing EQ and amazing IQ. Well, some would argue that that's not HR's role to become a mentor and to have this unbelievable organizational intelligence that she could deploy at the ready, but she could. So she had to go back to the marketplace and say, "Hey, I'm not just a great human resources officer. I am your leadership coach. I am your mentor. I am the person that you send me great possibilities, and I will smooth out the rough edges and I will make diamonds out of coal." That's who she was. As soon as she claimed that, people were clear about what she stood for and how they could engage with her or hire her. So I want to shift to like marketing for a minute, right? Differentiation is not a tagline exercise. This is a conversation I've had with several clients of late. It's not your color palette, people. It's not your logo. It's the answer to one question. What do you do that no one else does the way you do it? How do you do it differently that no one else does that way? You have to be really crystal clear what it is that that is, because here's what I hear all day long. Oh, we're customer centric. We have the customer at the heart of everything we do. We have the best pricing. We have the best service. We have the best people. If you're not sleeping yet, I'd be surprised. How many damn times have you heard that from companies and the way they go about engaging with you is the polar opposite of what they say their brand promises? Heart, the customer is at the heart of everything we do. How about you tell that executive to call his own call center? How about you tell that executive to call his offices after hours and see what happens? If you're not disgusted by the phone tree that you get into with the lack of actual intelligent responses or routing, I'm going to ask you if you really are at the heart of the customer's journey, if you really are easy to do business with. All of those things are not differentiators, people. They are table stakes. So here's the even harder truth. Owning something specific means that you got to let go of everything else. That's where most people stall. They are not good at saying, this is not me, because it feels like they're taking something off the table. But I'm going to caution you about that. By putting something on the table and removing everything else, you become crystal clear in who you are, who you're for, what you do, how you deliver it, and what makes you different. Do you remember that used to say, and I still say, being different is better than being better? Has that landed on you yet? Being different is better than being better. Why is that? Because when you're better, that's subjective. You're comparing yourself to ABC company and you're saying you're better than them. But fundamentally, are you offering the same products, the same services, the same solutions, the same delivery model that they are? Recently, I had an exercise. I needed to rebrand a company, a woman entrepreneur, and she gave me her competitive set, all the other companies she competes with. I printed them all out because I wanted to have a visual, and I looked at their value propositions and I looked at their marketing language. I looked at their websites and I played a game. I said, move the logos from one page to the other and see if I could tell who's who. Well, if I wasn't, I couldn't tell who was who because they all sounded, walked, talked, looked, felt the same. Without the logo doesn't define you, my friends. The logo does not define you. The way you go about going to market defines you. And these were completely undifferentiated companies. And I said to her, you have a differentiator. And I can't say it right now, but basically the way she engaged with clients was completely unique. She had a space that allowed her to collaborate on a level that none of her competitors would. It was a culture, engagement, project management, all of those aspects of what she did in this process were differentiated because of how she could engage that no one else could. This space that she created for her customers, for her partners, for her industry allowed her to do things that no one else in her space could do. And I said, that's what you're leaving off the table. That's what we got to lean into. It's how you show up, it's how you collaborate, it's how you provide your service, it's the way that you deliver your service. That's what differentiation is about. Don't ask yourself, how do you stand out? Start asking yourself, what do you own? What is it that is yours? Don't ask yourself, how do I compete? Start asking yourself, where is there no comparison, where comparison becomes irrelevant? Specificity is not limiting. Specificity is power. The people who try to appeal to everyone end up resonating with no one. You know this. Let me say that again. When you try to be all things to all people, you stand for nothing. The people who own a specific thing, a specific problem, a specific kind of result, those are the people who attract exactly the right opportunities and they stop chasing the wrong ones. You have to have, as my client likes to say, your tall, dark, and handsomes or your ideal customer profile. You need to know who you're for and who you're not for. You don't, if you're pitching, if you're responding to RFPs, you've already lost. You've already lost because RFPs are meant to commoditize the playing field. And all you're really doing is either giving away your ideas and your IP or you're competing on price, neither of which is a smart strategy. So if you're very clear about who you are, let me give you an example. I am very clear that I am not for everyone. Okay. I am very clear that my sweet spot, I am not a CMO with a box because I don't operate like 90% of other CMOs who love their marketing box. I don't love my marketing box. I color outside the lines all day long. I like to understand how sales is getting stuck. I like to understand how they're getting stuck operationally. I like to understand the customer journey and why if we make a brand promise that we can't keep operationally, will not get behind that brand promise. I will not go to market with that brand promise if I don't see it as a possibility to be truthful and authentic. And I hate to use the word authentic because it is overused. But if you tell me you're easy to do business with, and I audit your process, and I audit your 800 line, and I audit your storefront or your e commerce site or your website, your contact us, and I get the runaround, don't even try to tell me you're easy to do business with. So you need to stand behind, whether it's personal or professional, what do you stand for? So my coloring outside the lines looks like this. How are you pitching to investors? Are you looking for a liquidity event, a merger and acquisition, an exit? Okay, I'm going to get you ready for that. I'm going to position you so that you increase your valuation. That is my sweet spot. Not the sweet spot of a lot of CMOs, but mine. Mid market? Yep. Yep. Let's say you're 20 to $250 million and you're stuck and you want to get to the next level. You call me because you know I'm going to unstick you because I'm going to do a colonoscopy on your entire brand, not just the one that shows up on your website, people. That is a swim lane. My swim lane is a little wider because I know that the reality is I need to own how are we going to be successful based on your business objectives? So I had a conversation with a recent CEO and he was like, "Oh, I didn't know that you did that." And I said, "I know. You thought I was just a regular marketing person, right? Concerned about the way things look and the No, we have to be able to say that our thought leadership content is authentic to us and we really do own that IP and we really are that smart. Because if I'm writing your white papers and your people look like schlubs when they go to see a client, that's not going to work, right? So you have to have an end to end authenticity and you got to own what it is that differentiates you. So I'm going to say everybody's posturing, everybody's positioning, everybody has a framework, and everybody's a thought leader. But the executives and the founders who are building something that lasts are not louder than everybody else. They are clearer than everybody else. They stop trying to impress and they start being specific. What we do is this, this, and this. Never more than three things. I'm going to say it again. Never more than three things. And we own that and we do it really, really well because my competitors do one out of the three, maybe two out of the three, but they don't do three out of the three. And that is something that is available to you to claim. So I ask you to not have your title or not have your industry put you in a box without you being in control of your own narrative, being in control of how you are described. This is available to you, but you have to step away and say, what is it that I truly own? What is it that I truly want to own? And where am I different and how am I different? Own it, say it, learn it, live it, show it. And that's my episode for today. If you have any questions, if you're stuck, if you don't know, where your narrative is, or you've been sort of in second or third gear, if you've listened to something I've said and you think, I know what my thing is, but I've never been able to name it or express it clearly, or I keep getting passed over and I don't understand why, or I'm at a crossroads and I'm not sure which direction I should actually take, I invite you to engage with me. That's where I do my best work. Not in a workshop, not with a framework or a sheet that you're going to fill out alone. It's in a conversation where you and I are going to talk and we're going to figure out what makes you and your special sauce so special. And when you own that special sauce, there is a lightness. You get lit up, you get re engaged, you get supercharged about the possibilities that are yours and yours alone. Take that with you. Thank you so much for being here. Please remember to subscribe. Please rate the podcast. It really does help. And I hope to talk to you soon. Make it a great day. Bye.